Hello again everybody and a very warm welcome back to the channel. Hit like, hit subscribe, share your thoughts down in the comments below. Today we're looking at the BlackSquare Duke. Highly anticipated, coming very soon for Microsoft. Flight simulator. Going to be available in two variants. We're going to look mainly at one but discuss the other one throughout the video. And you have the option via the JustFlight website on release of purchasing either the single variant, i.e. the Piston Duke, or the Turbine Duke for £33.99 in pounds. Convert that to whatever currency you use, or a money-saving bundle which puts them both together, so it gives you the Grand Duke, the Piston Duke, and also this, the Turbine Duke, for £49.99 British pounds, roughly $69.99 US dollars. Now, BlackSquare, of course, are renowned for really high fidelity general aviation aircraft. This one exceeds their standards that they've already hit with various products up to now, with an incredibly complicated simulation of the real thing. Lots of different options in the flight deck or the cockpit for you to choose from in relation to whether you use the PMS-50, the TDS GTN-XI, or various other just got a GPS modules, so you can really tailor the experience based on whatever you prefer. As you can expect with this, there is a 160-page manual detailing everything you need to know to operate this properly, and lots of new sounds created in partnership with Boris Audio Works. Failures are possible in both packages as well, the Piston Duke and the Turbine Duke. 130 random or scheduled or performance triggered failures. There's a fully simulated environmental control and pressurization system, new engine preheat and simulations, voltage based light dimming as well, and also a couple of little cool things like setting almost fire and static discharge on static wicks and windshields in severe weather, which we might struggle to demonstrate today. As you can expect, the quality of the textures inside the cockpit are really spectacular, and for those of you wanting the Piston Duke, there's an instrument needle stiction and friction simulation as well. So without the engines running, the instruments, the analog instruments, could be a little bit sticky and give slightly false readings. So they have simulated the ability for you to just tap the glass to free the needles and get a more accurate reading, which is really quite unique and quite cool. Lighting pulses at low RPMs as well, so as the voltage regulator struggles to maintain a constant voltage at low RPMs, you might notice the lights just pulse slightly. And they've thought about all the little things as well, so if you look around the cockpit, you'll notice there the chocks. There was a little key there which is hanging off the artificial horizon. That was down in this little cup holder. By clicking that, it's opened the baggage door. By clicking the chocks, it's given us the wheel chocks around the main tyres on the aeroplane. And again, we can just tick those to get rid of them by using that click spot just there. They've also included a tablet. To access that, you've got to look down. You'll find it just stowed to the side of your captain's seat there. And loading it up gives you lots of different options in a very easy to navigate kind of layout. And you can change your primary selections. So those of you with the PMS-50 GTN, you'd tick the toggle across that way. I use the TDS GTN-XI, so I've got the toggle activated like so. But you can set everything up based on your own preference. So you can flicker through various different options until you find one that you want to use the most. And as well, if you on one flight want the GTN 750 and the GTN 650 as a secondary stack, then you can do that, and again in the tablet on the second flight, for example, you can just go ahead and change them to however you want. And you can do a lot of loading and all of your options like the chocks all within here as well, to save you looking around for keybinds and click spots. So things like toggling the co-pilot from the inside as well. So if we turn our attention to the payload page, I use kilograms, so I'm going to flick that across, and you can change the baggage throughout the load. And you can toggle things like external power and pitot covers all within that tablet as well, as you can see here. When it's particularly cold, something you might need to consider is engine heating. So colder climates, you might want to preheat the engine first. and with that you've got the option there to add the engine heater. The engine pages show you the complexity behind the simulation in a bit of a graphical form. So we can see here the fuel heater option, so if we had that active, that would be on there. And with realistic wear and tear, we will need to make sure our filters are clean and the engine is cleared, or we restart we repair the starter for the engine as well. So we can actually see as the systems go live here on both the engines, we might see some of these start to go active, and we'll check that out in a moment. Same with the electrical systems. At the minute we've got batteries off, but you can see we've got a few things shown in green already because we've got external power to the aircraft. And in the cabin, we've got that cabin air and pressurization simulation in a graphical format too. Final page is our failures page. We can put it onto scheduled mode, or we can leave it on MTBF mode. And if you really want to go crazy and increase the risk of you getting failures, then you can turn that right up to whatever value you seem fit. But again, you can also turn it off if you don't want the failures. To hide the tablet, just click back down in that click spot like so, and it will hide it for you. So we're in split, and I'm going to focus on getting the aircraft prepared for a short flight, and we'll take the turbine Duke out for a little spin as I share my thoughts with you all. So starting the engine, turning the ignition on, you can hear it. Probably can't hear it on the video, but you can hear it just going click, 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 ever so faint in the background, which is really cool. Like layers of sounds. Okie dokie, so right starter on. Going to listen to possibly the most incredible startup sounds in the sim at the moment. There we go. On the outside, amazing soundscape. And we're going to do the same now for the left engine. So both engines on. I'm gonna go ahead and close that window. Incredible noise. So as we mentioned at the beginning, we bring that tablet up. In the first instance, you can see here the simulation, and it actually helps you understand
system test okay.
what's happening with the aeroplane as we try and understand the simulation underneath. You can see there that I've abused the left engine a little bit, so the condition is already dropped significantly there, just to show you the state of the simulation. But we can repair that on the fly by just clicking a button like so. And on the electrical systems, everything's going green. If we turn on, for example, the wing pump, we'll see left wing pump there, or right wing pump here, illuminate depending on which one we turn on. Same with landing light. So there we go, landing light goes on, it goes green there, just to show you what's being simulated and what's happening. Turn it off, it goes off like so. And our cabin simulation is live. We can turn that to active, onto automatic. You can see there the little fans starting to whir away. And we can change the cabin temperature as well if we want to. Change the vent blower to high. You can see there the vent blower there is increased in speed significantly. Pop it back to low and that changes. Autopilot system is down below the throttles. We can test it. Make sure we've set our takeoff trim. We can change our, we can hide our kind of throttle stop there as well. And we can see there the engine trend monitor is keeping an eye on the turbines for us. But lots of different bits of information for us to consider there. Okay, on the runway and ready for departure. What I'm going to do now is change the time to night time. You can see then the strobes and the beacon lights flashing away, the illuminations around the aeroplane, and in the cockpit the panel lighting as well, which is really nice. First ever takeoff. Now, I'm not a Duke type rated pilot, might make mistakes, I'm trying to follow the checklists and learn as we go. Power levers need to be 1260 foot-pounds of torque. Holding it on the brakes. Do as close as we can get. Brakes off, a little bit of a crosswind to contend with here. Already through 80 knots. Let's get her up nice and quick into the crosswind. Gear up. Those animations are fantastic. Getting bumped around all over the place there. Get rid of those flaps. Now, of course, this aeroplane is pressurised, so you can fly right up to its ceiling altitude. That will be somewhere in the manual. Yet to find a lot of the technical data. And if we just have another look at the tablet, we can see that we can turn that on to automatic cool now. And that's going to work away at sorting out all of that. The pulse oximeter down here gives you an idea of oxygen saturation in the aircraft, and it also you can have carbon monoxide failures, which will result in various problems on the aeroplane that you might have to deal with. It's a very fast aircraft, this. Flight controls wise, everything actually feels quite nice. A bit twitchy on the rudders, but again that might be my rudder sensitivities and my crosswind technique in this aeroplane as I'm kind of getting to grips with it. And we've got the usual little indications around the cabin, giving us whether the cabin temperature is too low, too high, various failure warnings and everything as well. So buzzing along about 2,000 feet, very sprightly performance, sounds are incredible, really, really good. And bearing in mind the field of view is quite restrictive in the aircraft, as it is because of its design. This is offering quite a unique performance. It's an aeroplane that's been anticipated now for quite some time. Those of you who love a bit of general aviation have all been really looking forward to this. And initially it will come out on the JustFlight website, which is where you should buy it from. And then at some point in the very distant future, it'll end up on the MSFS marketplace. But ultimately, you want to get it on the JustFlight website rather than anywhere else. As we're flying along, you can set various custom views. You can just venture in from the back of into the back of the aeroplane there, and you can fold tables away and all that sort of thing, which is a really neat little feature. Again, the door here is animated, though we wouldn't open it in flight for obvious reasons. And you can move the armrests up and down as well. Same with the pilot's seats too. Not necessarily something you would do, but it's something you can do should you wish. In rain, we've got in sort of lower light conditions as well. We've got those really cool effects off the side of the aircraft, and the strobe lights visible there off the edges of the wing. Now, if the cloud was even thicker, let's turn into this a little bit here, then we would potentially get some of the kind of cloud light bouncing back somewhat, which would be quite cool. We're going to reset our cabin pressurization now to get it back down to airfield elevation, and I'm just letting the speed kind of bleed off a little bit here while we deal with this. Working towards landing again. So working towards the Venic NDB at the moment, just to help us with a visual approach. From there, turning in towards Tregear, and then we're going to try and land once again on runway 05, but conditions at the minute fairly gusty from the left, coming down that hill, giving us some interesting, challenging weather. So because of the system complexities and the depth in the simulation, what you have to do is really kind of start to understand the aeroplane as best as you can, and you've got to be able to deal with all of its systems that are simulated, much like the more complex airliners as well. This isn't anywhere near something like the default the default Cessna 172, for example. This is a Duke version or GA version of a complexity matched with, for example, the PMDG 737 or the Phoenix A320 in its own right, albeit a very different nature of flying entirely. Into Tregear, about 1,000. I'm just going to work to sort my speed and everything out, and then we'll get her on the ground, he says. So we're going to get our gear down. Got to make sure those wing pumps are on. All the lights, signs, pressurization systems are set as required. And we're going to get the flaps set to approach, which is 2 clicks on my throttle system. There we go, we get the blue light for APH. There's the runway. Just trying to trim this and get us set in for a nice approach here. Currently 110 knots. So wing pumps are on. Cabin differential's already on 0 anyway. Props are set. Oil doors are open. They're green. Flaps as required, gears down and locked, landing lights are on, and the autopilot's already disconnected. Passenger gear NDB. Flaps are now full. And we have this spectacularly scenic approach over the centre of Split.
$500.
We can just change our radar altitude. I set 400 just as a bit of an idea for minimums. And we're going to work to bring that speed down to our final approach speed now properly. Getting battered by the winds. There's a little bit of sink, probably wind related. Radar altitude's gone yellow there. A little flash down at the bottom showing us that we're below our radar altitude minimum. 2 red, 2 white. Speed's just running away. I mean, this is, yeah, they're fairly gusty conditions and fairly horrendous conditions, but I'm not massively struggling to control the aeroplane. It's feels really good, he says, albeit a bit quick. Sort that out though. Looking ahead. Gotta try and maintain that centre line. Touchdown. That, in the crosswind, felt really good. There's the windsock, you can show it's gusting and all sorts. And then gently on the brakes. Even the noise of the brakes. Really good. Very impressive aeroplane this. Look at that for touchdown, right on the centre line. Lovely job. They've got a beta range simulated here as well, so if you have your throttles below, I think sort of for most people, the 15% range on the throttle, what it will do is go into a detent, or into a, you can hear there the click. That's it going into beta. So you want to hold your throttles just above that. Unless you want to go into a beta range of the prop. Okay, so we'll just go through some of our after landing checks. One of those, of course, being flaps up. There's the animation from the outside. Then we can go and park up under the tree where we begun. So yeah, share your thoughts down in the comments section below. Let us know what you think of this new BlackSquare Duke. The Turbine Duke is the one we're in at the moment. Of course, they've also got the Piston Duke, which includes the Grand Duke, and you can either buy them individually, so the Piston Duke version or the Turbine Duke version as a separate aircraft, or if you so wish and you want both, you can buy both as a combined and discounted package from the JustFlight website, releasing very soon after Sim Update 15 is supposed to be released. Go ahead and just park here, the same spot from before. And then we'll get everything switched off. So we'll get the noise activated by opening the window. prop levers to feather, and the condition levers to cut off. And there we go. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and kind of feature first look review. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the live stream very soon. Take care. Thanks for watching.